What's going on, guys? It is the Wolf. It has been some time since I ran these fields of law and legal and status and standing. It is good to be back. Now, most of you guys know that, yeah, I did take a little vacation. Man, it was much needed, but I also didn't get a ton of rest. Uh, just had so many things that we were doing. But you know what? We're back. We're at it. So we're going to get into it. We're going to give people a couple of minutes to gather around and to join us. So feel free to let me know who you are, where you hail from in the comments. So we'll get started with the main show shortly. All right. So let me know what republic you're from, and I will send a what's up. So, Jerron, what's going on? Appreciate you. First in line, first in time. All right, we got some people piling in. This was definitely a kind of a last minute thing. I wasn't planning on jumping on a live tonight, but it had been some time. And so the topic of tonight's show about the withholding agent, I definitely want to, here, hold on one second. All right, just got to adjust something. Sorry, one moment. Okay, there we go. It came up a couple times this week, and I think you guys are going to find it interesting. So instead of having a ton of material prepared, I'm just going to show you guys literally this topic as I research it. So you're going to see me researching the withholding agent, and I also have my chat GPT geared up. We found out one of the reasons why the more advanced protocol for making your chat run like mine, sometimes it would be a little buggy. We believe we fixed that little bug in the programming, the protocols. And what it was is essentially we had so much stuff in there making it work really hard that it was running out of memory. So it would act a little funny sometimes. So we will have the new updated script. You know, if you're having no problems, hey, cool. But if you are, like I said, we're gonna have the new updated script probably sometime the next day or two. Just want to keep running it to make sure everything is good. So as you guys can see over here, Zoom, or really StreamYard, that's where I'm on. So credit to them. They now have the new feature, which I think is pretty cool, where your comments come right up on the screen. All right, so that's pretty cool. Translucent too. So we got people from New Jersey Republic. We got Gotham Dark Knight. What's going on? Massey says, how do I get parole out of my life for good? That is not the topic of the show tonight, but that is a contract. So you're going to either have to fulfill the contract or essentially find out what the contract's value is and make the payment. That's what all of this is really about at the end of the day. Everything is commercial. Everything has a price. I'm just going to say this right out of the gate. I bought some new plants because, well, some died and then some are regrowing. And so I've got little bugs that fly around. So don't think I'm crazier than I already really am. So you'll see me like go like this every once in a while. I'm not, well, I am seeing things, but they're bugs. All right. So what's going on, Joel? What's going on? Tyrone. Good Lady Thompson says, what do we got here? I need to schedule a consult with you. Well, Black Side 32, everything is going to be down in the ticker. We are now at 89,000, like 800 or almost 90,000. So thank you guys for helping me to get there. Also, the new YouTube channel is doing pretty well. I'm a little rough over there. Okay. Some people love it. Some people are like, I don't know. I think I like your other channel better. But that YouTube channel is Bad Wolf Unrestricted. So we I go in on all these different things that I've learned. We talk about everything from entertainment to, you know, what's in the news, local, worldwide. Everything is on the table. And once again, the comments over there are fully open as long as it doesn't get too, you know, AI, bot, trolls, porn things. So as long as it stays pretty decent, we'll keep that open. So Stephanie says, good evening. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Like I said, this was very last minute impromptu. So I don't expect a ton of people here, but if you're getting the notification, that is awesome, because so many people have told me that they don't get them. They don't hear when I'm launching new videos or whatever. So if that happens, every once in a while, just go to my YouTube channel, click on a video, make sure you hit that bell, like, subscribe if you want those level of notifications. What YouTube kind of does is that if you don't click on my videos after a while, they kind of lower it, and then sometimes they actually unsubscribe you, which is crazy. I don't even know why they would do that. So once again, there's a bug. All right, so backing up in the comments section, we got some California in the house. And so what's going on, good people over there? This is, why does a non-citizen national living overseas have to file taxes on foreign income? That is a good question. Pretty similar to what we're talking about. I mean, and this is what, by Global, okay? Global 2088. So what happens is, the moment we're born, we are given the standing of a national, okay? Like in California, as a Californian. And we know that's under GPO Style Manual Section 5.23. So we know that all day. But we then get the unnatural. So the natural would be the God, the national side, and then the state citizen, non-citizen national. But we also get the man-made side by law. The man-made, which is a step down from your standing into a status, and that is of the 14th Amendment U.S. citizen. So when you fill out any work, W-4 and your sign-on paperwork, and they're asking you to say if you're a U.S. citizen, the moment you agree that you are the U.S. citizen, that's a taxpayer. The national is tax exempt for a majority of things. But that then, by their law, you carry that status with you no matter where you are on this planet. So you can be in Australia working, and Uncle Sam and the system, they want their money. They're just saying you're working abroad and you're a taxable 14th Amendment U.S. citizen. So they're like, send me my money, honey. That's how it works. So usually what happens is that you have people like, say, military, and when the military individual wants to be tax exempt overseas, they usually use Form 673. Okay. They're basically saying that, hey, I'm operating private. This doesn't have anything to do with Uncle Sam. So they'll use that form. But in general, you have to go back to your HR. Now, understand this, depending on what you do for a living, and when you're somewhere else in the world, like if you're a public servant or trustee, you're still taxable. Okay. Now there are ways to get around that legally, but if your position is like a CDL driver and you're in Australia driving, and you told me you're a U.S. citizen, they're going to, because that is a taxable job, you have to pay taxes. But once again, there's ways around that if you do it correctly. Otherwise, if you have a regular job and you're out of the country, you really should be using like either a tax exempt entity or a 98 number, or identify yourself properly in your private capacity as a national on your with your employer via your W-4, which we actually just made some videos on that. All right. So that should help you out there. Got some more Californians, Oklahomans, Alabamans, Texans. All right, some more people saying they need a consult or whatever else. Yeah, so we've got a new system where if you go to Black Site 32 and you go to the consult page, the very first option on there, you click that, and then it shows all of the things, the half hour, hour, court case, 2 hour, all of that is in the one tab right now. And once you pay, it sends you a link right away. It puts it right in my calendar. It takes care of all of that. So no longer have to send me the notification, the email, and then send it back to you and then confirm a date and all this other stuff. Nope, it's all one and done, which is what I was waiting for. So score. All right. So now without any more further ado, let's take a look at why I think you guys really want to see this information on the withholding agent. Let's see how many people we got in here. 71. That's pretty good. I got it. Working on it tonight. Are you weeks out or months out? No, I'm probably like 2 weeks. And then if you choose to take the VIP, that is usually quicker. So only about 2 weeks at this point in time. So next week or the week after, I think we're just now starting. So definitely not a month out at this point in time. Where does the W-4 come from and where can I find the video? So yeah, just go to YouTube and type in Bad Wolf or Bad Wolf Unincorporated and then type in W-4 and that should pop it up. Okay. And thank you, good lady Thompson. Appreciate you. Where does the W-4 come from? So the W-4, this is let me say this because I know they like to watch my videos too. I'm sure they caught my live. So the W-4 is really for, what's going on, Frog Dog? It's been a while, brother. The W-4, educationally speaking, do your own research. I'm not the master shaman guru, okay? The W-4, from my perspective, informational purposes only, is a document that the government put together for what does it say on there? Federal employees. My belief, my faith system is that if you're collecting federal taxes, shouldn't I be then a federal employee? Doesn't that make sense? I mean, if I say there's a black tax and white people are paying this tax and they're just like, yeah, I got to pay my black tax too. Shouldn't they probably be black? And of course, I'm just saying that, having a little humor with it, because of course we all know that we're not blacks. We are people of color, copper color people, Native Americans, etc. All right. Matter of fact, all of us are Native Americans. All right. So really, if you really read the paperwork, you'll find that the 1099 is how most of us are supposed to be paid, because the 1099, they don't take taxes out because you're a freelance, you're private. So, but our jobs bring us in under the W-4 because they like that. And then with that, they give you certain benefits and privileges for depicting yourself as a federal employee. I'm just saying, I'm not a federal employee. I don't work directly for the federal government. I don't have a commercial job license through them, nor do I work for the state. So should one really even pay state taxes? Do you work directly for the state or the government? No. Huh. Do you do a commercial job where you're licensed and that you make money on the roads? Or you're a public trustee? I'm just saying. I'm asking questions here. Indigenous people, yes, that is another good term. We got Bronze Flat Power God. What's going on? Been a while. My brother Big Bad James. So if I change my status, I will be tax exempt overseas and I wouldn't have to report foreign bank accounts. Yeah, that's what you're doing. Because remember, you have both. If you look up 8 USC 1401 on Cornell Law EDU, it tells you national and U.S. citizen at birth. You have both. National tax exempt for a majority of things out there. 14th Amendment U.S. citizen is a business of the United States. Taxable. That's a public trustee position. It's a public business. So if you say you're that, you're supposed to pay. If you're in military and you're doing a military operation, you've been employed, deployed, those are taxable things. All right. So I'm just asking questions. Do your own research. I mean, you know. All right. So let me see if I can load up my page here. And because, you know, I'm never prepared, but you know what? We're just going to start raw. That's what she said. Hold down here. Nope, don't need that up. Where's my screen? Lost my screen. Okay, there it is. All right, so share screen. Okay, let's see here. Oh, new tab. Okay, there we go. All right, so you can go to whatever you want. Let's see, I think I had good results from Google, even though I know sometimes they're the DEVIL. But so, okay, so I typed in definition of IRS withholding agent. All right. So let's play the AI. Hopefully you guys will be able to hear this. Okay. So what did it just say there? It says an IRS withholding agent is any person. Now remember, the definition of person can be a living person, though generally that's not what it means, but it can be. It can be an association, it can be a company, it can be a business. That is what a person is in the US legal system. It can be any of those things, or it can be an entity. And what does it say here? US or foreign. So an IRS agent, an IRS withholding agent can be any of those things, US or foreign. So who is really the IRS withholding agent? Your company. Your company is operating as the withholding agent. Now, it says here that has control, receipt, custody, disposal, or payment of an item of income. Now, we know that income means monies generated that are taxable or subject to tax. But what does it say here? Or payment of any item of income of a foreign person. Who's the foreign person? If your job is the withholding agent, whatever company you work for, they're the withholding agent for the IRS. Most of your companies are US. But it says they have control, receipt, custody, disposal, or payment of an item of income of a foreign person that is subject to withholding. Subject, keyword, meaning you have an obligation. So if you're in the public, you are subject. You are a subject, and you are subject to withholding. But wait a minute, who is the foreign person? I think they're trying to say, and I already know the answers. But I think they're saying that the foreign person is you as a national. And they're saying that the IRS agent, which is your company, is responsible for withholding the appropriate amount of your income of a foreign person, which I believe, educationally speaking, is the national. Because we are, in fact, foreign to the U.S. system by law. And then it says that is subject. So they're telling you right here, as a foreign person, you, the foreign national, and also other foreign people, you may be not subject to federal tax from the IRS. I mean, maybe I'm reading it wrong. So let's look at it again. An IRS withholding agent is any person or entity, U.S. or foreign, that has control, receipt, custody, payment of any of income of a foreign person. And if your company is an IRS agent for withholding purposes, and we know they are, then who the hell is this foreign person? It's got to be you as a national. And then it's saying that is subject to withholding. It says they act as the IRS's enforcement mechanism responsible for withholding, reporting, and depositing U.S. tax on payments made to foreign individuals, foreign entities, or foreign governments. This is the definition of an IRS withholding agent. So wait a minute. So you're telling me that the way I'm reading this, they're not only saying not only are you a foreign person when you're in your private capacity, that you may or may not be subject depending on what you're doing, what job you have, the position, is it taxable or non-taxable? But if you know who you are, that you're foreign, you may, so if it says that is subject, they act as this mechanism. So if they're saying that you are subject, then there's the possibility that you may not be subject. But we know you as straight U.S. citizens, when we're in that capacity, they are definitely taxable. And that they are the mechanism that is responsible for withholding, reporting, and depositing U.S. tax on payments made to foreign individuals, foreign entities, and foreign governments. But we know, okay, because we know enough about the law, that foreign individuals, entities are not subject, generally not subject to withholding. So they're saying that if you are subject and you make an election, you're taxable. Core responsibilities, withholding tax. Generally, they must withhold 30% on payments. See, they're not going to tell you, they're going to tell you what the side of the law that benefits you. They're not going to talk about the private side. They're telling you here, if you are subject to withholding, they're telling you here that the IRS agent has control, receipt, custody, disposal, or payment of an item of a foreign person that is subject. So your company, if you're foreign and you are subject to withholding, they're going to do their job, which is where the 30% comes out of your check. Income on payments of U.S. source, fixed or determinable, annual or periodic income, which means money's subject. This is a challenge point right here. Such as interest, dividends, royalties, and compensation for services. So they're supposed to take out this, but once again, income And it says such as interest. So this is why if you have a bank account, you've got interest, this is why they have access to it. This is a benefit. You're supposed to pay taxes on it. You're supposed to pay taxes on your dividends and your royalties because these are benefits of the US taxable system. They created these things, dividends and royalties and interest and compensation for your services. But we know, keyword here, compensation for services, but services implies public, commercial. Your labor is tax exempt, which is the same things being done, but if you're a national, or in this case, referred to as a foreign person, you're tax exempt. This is for all the people in the public who are servants, trustees, police, CDL workers, bus drivers, postal, police, judges, lawyers, anybody who services the public or licensed to do things in the public. The average American in their private company, in their private position, is regarded as a foreign person. In the IRS website, it says a U.S. national for tax purposes is regarded as a non-resident for tax purposes. A non-resident is equal to a foreign person. Reporting, they must file a 1042 annually, 1042-S. Depositing withheld taxes must be deposited with the I.R.S. Documentation. But look here, documentation. They must obtain valid tax forms from payee. Example, a W-8-B-E-N. So if you're a foreign person, so they're telling you a W-8-B-E-N is actually supposed to be provided to you from the payees, your company. It's supposed to say, hey, are you taxable? You're tax exempt. They're supposed to do it. We've been doing it because they don't know anything about it. And it says when doing this, it says then to determine the correct withholding rate and tax, and if a tax treaty applies. Well, we know how to fill out the W-8-B-E-N. So we're going to take a look at that in a second. Who can be a withholding agent? I want you guys to pay, this is a gem drop moment here. Who can be the withholding agent? Withholding agents can be various individuals or entities. Individuals construes living. Or entities, including corporations, partnerships, trusts, associations, whether U.S. or foreign, example, U.S. payers of foreign vendors, investors, foreign entities like banks, intermediaries, but partnerships, allocating. Okay, so here's the question here. I already know the answer, so this is a gem drop. You guys need to ponder this. If it says an individual can be a withholding agent, is this something, could you be your own, or could you be your own withholding agent? Could you create an entity that then operates as your withholding agent for your legal person? Key details. Withholding agents are personally liable for required holding. Failure to withhold can result in liability for the tax. So if you're not doing something right, or your job is not doing something right, they can be directly liable. This is why a lot of them are scared to use the W-8-B-N or whatever else. They don't want to take on that. If you're wrong and they've basically submitted it, they're the ones who really are the primary point of interest to be in trouble. Withholding is generally required when payment is made. If multiple parties qualify as withholding agents for a single payment, only one is required to withhold the tax. An exception to reporting may exist for individuals not required to withhold and not making payments in their trade or business. So they're saying, are you doing a trade or business? I bet most of y'all don't know the real definition of trade or business. You should probably look it up. And then even if you are doing this, okay, a trade or business, then you are subject. But if you're working, this is why they say the trades or the business. So if you're working a trade or business, those are what are subject. But if you're working your normal job, inside the job, you're not doing a trade, you're not doing a business. This is for those, not you. Once again, do your own research. I'm just reading here. So it says, note, this information primarily pertains to Chapter 3 of non-resident alien and Chapter 4 of fact withholding of the I.R.S. publication 512. I see y'all in the comments. I'm just as always, seeking experts. Do your own research. I'm just a saying here. All right, DB20 says employee under USC 26-4-3401. Okay. 26 USC 3401C. Okay. Okay, I see you guys. What's going on, SK? What's going on, Don? See some of y'all helping each other out in the comments, so that's awesome. Good. Okay, so let's take a look at that particular code. Let's see what we can find. Okay. Cornell Law EDU. I'm sure they're watching, or their writers are. They're moderators. So hello to Cornell Law. 3401. Let's see what they got here under definitions. They say go to C. Okay. A. B. All right, so here's C. So it says, for the purpose of this chapter, the term employee includes an officer. This is why they want to call you an employee at work. But an officer, this is a public position. An officiator. Okay, an employee or elected official of the United States, or a state, capital S, or any political subdivision thereof, or the District of Columbia, or an instrumentality or agency or instrumentality of any of one or more of the foregoing. The term employee also includes an officer of a corporation. Are you these things? Go ahead. I'll wait. Most of you know. All right. This is that fire video. Let's just say if you understand what I'm talking about right here, then you know how fire this video is and what this code is right here. If you don't worry, you'll catch up. Most of you are not this. Now, I like to go to Cornell Law because they have the words hyperlinked. So let's see what they have here. Okay, so it just reiterates what we already just read. If you're not an officer of a corporation, you're not an employee. If you're not in the District of Columbia, you're not legally an employee, but they want you to regard yourself as one. So then they can say, well, then you're taxable. Are you an agency or instrumentality of those? Do you work directly for the state? Are you a political subdivision thereof? Are you an elected official of the United States? This is why I told you guys before, so this proves it. Most people are generally not taxable, but you can't just stop paying taxes. You have to do it the correct way. We already made some videos on that with the W-4. You put all zeros on there, and then you check the box on your W-4. You have to go to your HR department and update your W-4. Now, understand that some states, even if you're exempt on the federal level, you're still taxable from their perspective. Some states you're not. I would tell you just go ahead and pay the state because it's not that much. Hell, you're getting 30% back on your checks. But remember, don't fall for the rat cheese deductions for your kids or the $2,000 credits. That's the rat cheese to lure you into the van, and then you wake up at P. Diddy's house. Or worse. So yeah, W-4, the short version is all zeros. And then on, was it 4B or 4C? If you can, you can write exempt. You don't need to, because now they've got a little line. Now, back in the old days, they didn't have that little line underneath the final total. But if you pay attention, that little block line, it says if you're exempt, check this box. That didn't used to be there. You should be checking that box if you want keep a majority of your check. You're telling them, I'm not an employee. I'm not these things. Remember, your labor is not taxable. In the case of a person paying wages on behalf of a non-resident alien individual, foreign partnership, or foreign corporation not engaged in trade or business within the United States, the term employer, except for purposes of the subsection, means A means such person. Okay. I'm not going to go through I'm not going to read all of that. You guys can do that at your own leisure. But now let's go and take a look at the W-8BN that they mentioned. It's so funny how so many people are now jumping. Like, I make these videos and so many people jump on my videos and then go make their own. So that's awesome. I mean, I wish they would give me some credit when they do it, but it is what it is. But here's the thing. By learning these things, guys, we are changing the system. And by putting it out there, we're creating waves of people who are finally waking up. The age of awakening, as the elites and wealthy call it, is at hand. So let's take a look here at the W-8BN. All right, you know what? Let me take a look at the comment sections and we'll jump into that. All right, let's go back over here. Let's see what you guys are doing, because I can't see my studio when that's up. All right. So Chris said, I just received the W-2 and it says on it statutory employee. No. Yeah, because you're not. You've been misidentifying yourself. You are lost, brother, for lack of knowing who and what thine self is. Remember, all this is education and entertainment. Please do your own research. You go, a qualified licensed professional, because I am not. Just a guy who wears black a lot and brown skin. More like almond. I filed exempt on my W-4 and didn't get any wages on my 2025 tax transcript. Okay, it says facts. This is so true. What about the W-4T form? That is a fake. Okay. The W-4T form. And yes, I'm guilty. I'm unlike a lot of these other people out here, or say call them gurus. I'm just a guy. I can admit. So when I looked at the W-4T, which was, it's a deep fake. I actually finally, when somebody challenged me on it, I said, you know what, let me take a closer look. On first glance, the W-4T looks legit. It is a deep fake. It is not real. However, the law states that where there is no form, we have the ability to create the form, and they are to respect it. Now, they don't like that shit at all. Let me tell you that. Okay. I'm not even going to tell you some stories about some things me and some other people have done. Okay. It gets a little fun in there. All right. But we have the right to do it. So I don't remember the website, but the people who are about freedom, they made the W-4T, they made it a deep fake, but employers were accepting it. Why? Because it looked real. But if you notice, there are no IRS logos on it. And by law, what the W-4T is basically you creating essentially a legal, professional, official looking affidavit type form to state that you are tax exempt. So if your employer takes it, you're good to go, because they're supposed to believe you when you depict and declare to them who you are. They're only supposed to challenge you or deny you if they think it's illegal, criminal, or something of that nature. And as long as there's no IRS logos and OMB numbers, it's not illegal, because then you're trying to create a file that doesn't really exist. P. Diddy, boo. Yeah, nobody, nobody. Yeah, yeah. We all know what kind of bag of scum he is. I just like to keep poking fun, but I probably shouldn't keep poking fun. He might get out and ring my doorbell and want to hang out or something. So Lady Thompson says retired, federal, military. So you still, or whoever you're referring to, still has their national side. So yeah, you can still do these things. However, but if you're in active capacity, you are taxable, because you are a signed contract 14th Amendment U.S. citizen. Like, that's literally pure 14th Amendment U.S. citizen. Federal employee all day. Christina says you are a state employer when you have a driver's license, but they failed to tell you that part. Yeah, so I can't 100% say that you are an employer. You have to show me where you found that. But I will say that when you get a driver's license, you're definitely stating that you are an employee of the state. Capital, yeah, you're an employee of the state. All right. Like, for instance, Frog Dog says, when I canceled my license here in Ohio, I created my own document, put on the record by the cop. Dummy giggled on my way out. Yeah, so we did that too, because most of the states do not, some of them don't have a cancellation form for your driver's license. They just want you to turn it in. Well, that's decent, but if you need to argue that in court, you have no proof. they don't generally close your account. So, oh man, do I got some fun stuff to tell you guys. I have to wait till some more processes are done. I'm waiting for some pushback, so we'll see. But yeah, a lot of times, guys, we will create, or I've created my own forms. And if I can't find their form, then I'm like, I'm going to make it. Here's my form. How then I'm going to take the 4T. Some HR departments are not as smart as you guys think. They literally, hold on, see if I can. They literally don't do their job and ask you about the form or call the IRS. Can I do this? So that's not necessarily a bad thing if they take it and they stop taking taxes out, because technically that's what they're supposed to do if you are operating as a national. I am who I am says, I'm American Indian, formerly misclassified as an African American or Black. I don't pay taxes. Correct. The term Black or white is a corporate term for their public side. I don't want to say slaves. We'll say employees or members. How about that? Christopher says, and use the explanatory statement from the Bad Wolf. That is optional, but it does give the people who you're receiving it at your office the ability to read and learn who they are as well. Like one company, I was working with a client, and they were like, no, we're not going to take this. And I told them, like, tell them that by law, they have an obligation to contact the IRS to prove that you can't do what you're saying. Otherwise, it's a lawsuit to the company. So the company kind of started looking into it, and then like it was the big buzz around the office, and then came back that they accepted. They said, yeah, there's no law. It's your self-determination. And then all of a sudden everybody was like, can we do that too? And they were like, you better go watch the Bad Wolves videos. But yes, yeah. So I thank all of you guys that positively share my videos, and you guys have emailed me, and some of you guys have thanked me for the videos. Some of you guys have sent prayers for my son and family, so thank you for that. Some of you guys have, just reached out and been very, very positive in the comment section. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you for hitting that bell, like, subscribe, and sharing. Thank you to the people out there that have told me about some of the derogatory messages, under the videos, through YouTube, through the private 3-letter agency, clandestine departments. It is what it is. They don't like what we're doing, and that's too bad, so sad. They're really operating as a traitor to this nation that we're paying them for. So literally our taxes, or the taxes, some agency is putting those advertisements underneath my videos with our taxpayer money hard at work. So it is what it is. It's part of the game. All right. As we move, they move. They don't like what I'm putting, so that's their move, and that's fine. We can, but remember, I'm just saying it's education. And here's the funniest part, which is why somebody or people should sue Wikipedia, because the term sovereign citizen, we've never claimed to be here. So that's defamation of character. And that term has no standing in law. So they're using a term that has no legal meaning. There's that. But I digress. Let's keep going. So, Eric says Title 4D is the biggest joke. I've had the misfortune of being robbed by federal lawsuits coming this year. Yeah, we do have educational packs on getting out of that, that you can procure or do your own research with that tool. We make no guarantees, but most people find the information to be very, very valuable. And also for those people who don't know, who want deeper, like coup d'etat information on some processes that YouTube won't let me go deeply into, and certain other agencies remove some of my videos if I go a little, go to jamesclovett.com, and there are some free videos on there, and there are some low-cost videos for right now. They have been reduced down to $1. Some are free. That's going to rotate next month, next week. That might change. And then there's the paid ones. So you guys should probably go and take a look at those and get the free ones and the discounted ones while they are. And if you like those, then be so kind and please hit rewind and pay for some of the more interesting, good videos on there that I can't put in the public. So because some private things should be kept in private. So I'm learning their game. That's why they remove some of my videos, because they're like, hey, Mr. Wolf, hello. It's a little too much for the public side. Okay, so we have to learn how to play the game, which coming up soon, we will be doing Zoom conferences where we'll have like 4, 5, or 6 speakers, and it'll be on the private. So you'll have to go to Black Site and click on the Zoom conference or the consultation button, and then within there you'll see a new tab, and it'll say Zoom conference 1, or on this date, Zoom conference 2 on this date. We're going to probably start with 1 a month to see how it flows and works. If people seem to like it, we'll keep doing it. There will be a small fee, of course, to get into it, but each hour we're going to have a specialist talk about this, that, or the other. So I might talk for an hour and just answer questions. The next hour might be on trust from a professional. Next one might be health stuff, and the other one might be whatever. I'm gathering all of that right now, so we'll see. So, but keep in mind, guys, so none of this will affect you in any, and let me say this correctly. You already have a public side and a private side. You're a U.S. citizen and you're a national. Unless you renounce, none of this is going to mess up your stuff. And I tell people not to renounce because that's a trap. On that form, you're talking about your U.S. citizenship, but on the form, the top of it says renouncing your nationality, which is your national side. And if you do that, that takes your nationality and your citizenship away. It's a trap. Now, some people have been able to pull off just saying specifically, I just want to get rid of my U.S. citizen side. But why do that? Just don't use it. Operate through your entities. Okay. Also, you guys can join the Telegram group, and we also have a Facebook community started now, so you guys can join that. I believe that's just I think it's The Bad Wolf Unincorporated, so you should be able to find it on there. Watch out for people that aren't me. All right, so let's jump back over to the W8BN and continue from there. All right, so let's break this down. So what does this say? This is a certificate. Okay, so this is not just a regular form. This is a certificate. Okay. Oh, see, fat fingers. Get back over there. Boom. Okay, so this is a certificate of what? Foreign status. This is a certificate of foreign status. When we fill this out, we're telling them that we're foreign status. What is the foreign status? You as a national, a state citizen. Those words are synonymous. So a foreign person, you as a national, is the same thing of having a foreign status. What is the status of you in the private? Not your 14th Amendment U.S. citizen taxable side. And remember, guys, this is the key point. Your social security number can be used for taxable or tax exempt. When you say that your social security is taxable, You're making an election to be taxed. You're raising your hand and saying, I want to be taxed. But the Social Security number, though it has the legal ability to be taxed by an election, it is generally not a taxing number. The EIN is. That was created to be taxed for a corporation. You as a natural living person are foreign. The United States corporation in relationship to the United States of America is in fact foreign. This was already adjudicated in law. Those are two, they're in the same family, but they're legally foreign to each other. Your status, or I really should say standing, that's the correct way, but we'll just play, we'll play nice in the sandbox. Oh, God, it hurts my soul. Your status, standing, as a national and state citizen is foreign. You can then be regarded as a foreign national. As a U.S. national, for tax purposes, the IRS says you are to be regarded as a non-resident. Non-residents are tax exempt. You have to be able to put these words together to know what they're talking about. And of course, yes, they obfuscate the information, which means to hide. They make it difficult, but anything foreign means it's not taxable. But a foreign person, a foreign thing, can make an election to be taxed, or a foreign person or a person of foreign status can do taxable events. And then you must pay. But your normal job, for most of us, is that you're foreign when operating as a national in the private. Oh man, I keep hitting it. What? Stop going back. So they're telling you that this document is a certificate of foreign status of beneficial owner for United States tax withholding and reporting. Individuals. Remember, the government, when you see the word individuals, they generally regard the word individual as a living being. So this is for living beings. Now watch how we pull this all together. This document says this is a certificate of foreign status of a beneficial owner. Who is the beneficial owner? You are. You are foreign and you are a beneficial owner. Beneficial means beneficiary. Remember, United States of America is held in trust. If public people pay the taxes and we are considered to be, then what? Well, if you operate as a 14th Amendment taxable U.S. citizen, you are a trustee and a public person like them. You are electing. You're saying, I want to be looked at like you guys. I wouldn't, but you can. The law says you can. You get both. You elected to use your taxable public side, which is why I could go and pull your taxes because that's public information. So if they're the trustees and there's 3 positions in the trust, guess what? We're the grantor, okay, or the trustor. They're the trustees. And then we, in our private capacity, are the beneficiaries as nationals. This is what they're saying here. Nationals are foreign. They're private compared to in relation to the United States corporation and your company, because your company is a taxable entity. And this then means that you're an owner. So they look at beneficiaries as the owner. So you are the beneficial owner in this nation as a national. So for the purposes of tax withholding and reporting, individuals, once again, living. So are you a living beneficial owner? Yes, you are. Are you foreign to them in your private capacity? Yes, you are. Do not use this form if you are not an individual. So you must be an individual. Who's an individual? A living private person. Do not use this form if you are a U.S. citizen or other U.S. person. including a resident alien individual, because they have to pay taxes. If you're a resident alien, you've agreed to be that resided alien, resident, resident, your identity, brought it over to them. You are taxable. U.S. person, which means all these businesses and things, taxable. U.S. citizen, one of which you have a U.S. citizen side, but you don't have to use it. But if you are a U.S. citizen right from DC or a public or taxable CDL license, etc., or you elect to regard your U.S. citizen side, then you are taxable. You can't use this form. Let's take a closer look. They want the name of the individual who's the beneficial owner, country, permanent address. Look at here where it says include postal code where appropriate. They're throwing the option out there. But you don't want to use a zip code because you're agreeing that you're in a taxable, above the land, invisible federal state jurisdiction. No zip code, but they're offering. You can put it whatever you want. I would. That's taxable. Look here. Then number 5, they said U.S. taxpayer identification number. SSN or ITIN, if required. Meaning, by law, you should be able to work without these things. But generally, your employer is not going to let you. So if you're able to put your Social Security number down here, because this can be used both ways, or if you get the appropriate ITIN, you can be tax exempt there. We made videos on that. I certify that I'm the beneficial owner as a resident of United States of America or America within the meaning of income tax treaty, blah, blah, blah. Now, we've already made a video claiming 0 on the rate and how to fill out the rest of this. So you can go and watch those videos and check here. So now let's take a quick look up here and go over to the W-4. Yeah, I don't want the estimator. I just want the online PDF. There we go. Okay, so quick run through. First name, middle name, last name, social. Okay. Step 3, dependent and other credits. Do not fall for the cheese. If you take this, you're going to be taxable. Here's where you need to check right here. Exempt from withholding. Now, let's see what the instructions say. Now, I told you guys the old-fashioned way. All zeros all the way across. And then you put exempt. But once again, so let's read the instructions. Okay, where is it? I just want to read the primary section. All that's the chart. Okay, right here, exemption from withholding. You may claim exemption from withholding for 26 if you meet both of the following conditions. You had no federal income tax liability for 2025, and you expect to have no federal income tax liability for 2026. How can this be a true statement if you're going to fill out the form the way I'm talking about? Because legally, though you paid federal tax in 2025, if you're not a federal employee or federally licensed or etc., you didn't legally have federal tax liability for 25. You elected to do that. You gifted that to them. You didn't have a liability unless you're a federal employee, etc. So you do meet these qualifications. So they're saying so they always say if last year you had a tax obligation, then you don't qualify, but you didn't have an obligation, you didn't have a liability, you did not have a liability. You were not forced to be held liable for federal tax. You elected to pay that. So you do qualify because you did not have federal income tax liability. You just elected, you gifted them the money. You had no federal income tax for 25. If one, your total tax on line 24 of your 25 form. So then they can start going into why they really want you to, pay if you did put money there. You did it optionally. The first part right here is what frees you from it. Did you have a liability? No, you did not. Educationally speaking, do your own research, of course, yada, yada. It says here, two, you were not required to file a return because of your income was below the filing threshold for your correct filing status. Your correct filing status. If you claim exemption, you will have no income tax withheld from your paycheck, and you may, now they got to threaten you a little bit, and you may owe taxes and penalties when you file your 2026. To claim exemption from withholding, certify that you meet both of the conditions by checking the box in the exempt from withholding. Then complete steps. Now here, pay attention. Then complete steps 1A, 1B, and 5. Do not complete any other steps. So 1A, 1B, and 5. 1A, 1B. Do nothing else but come down to here for 5. Check the box. Put your name. If you wanted to be kind of petty, you could line out employee signature, but generally just put your name. You can put all rights reserved or national behind your name, comma, beneficiary, whatever, if you want, optional. Otherwise, just your name is fine. And then put your date. That's it. Now, some people try to say that, well, no, being a national is the same thing as a U.S. citizen. Okay, well, hold on. Let's take a look. Well, under 8 U.S.C. 1401, it says nationals and citizens of the United States at birth. So you're getting both. There's two things. Here's your proof. But who does this apply to? Okay, a person born in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction. That's all of us. If you're a member of an Indian tribe or one parent was born outside, both parents were born outside, they talk about all these exceptions right here that still qualify you underneath this. So we have both. We're getting both. But some people are, well, yeah, but that doesn't really prove that they're two separate things. Well, yeah, it does. National and citizen at both. So we're getting both. The national standing is real. But okay, let's take a look at some more law here then. 8 FAM 301.1-1. Under 8 FAM 301.1-1, letter B, it says national and citizen, or national verse citizen. While most people and countries use the term citizenship and nationality interchangeably, U.S. law differentiates between the two. So they are different. Under current law, all U.S. citizens, so under current law, unless they change something, all U.S. citizens, even those trolls out there who don't like me, don't like what I'm talking about, they are also U.S. nationals. Dun, dun, dun. But not all U.S. nationals are U.S. citizens. This is a double entendre. It has two meanings. Because if you're from Swain and where's the other place? Swain and Samoa. American Samoa and Swain are a different type of national. They're referred to as U.S. non-citizen nationals. This is where I actually corrected the Department of State because they watched my videos because they had the wrong code here. So it says the term national of the United States. So now we know national of the United States means the same thing as a U.S. national or national. But under what code? As defined by INA 101A 22 or 8 U.S.C. 1101A 22. Really, it should say A22B, but it's correct enough. So that says includes all citizens of the United States. So if you're a citizen, well, I guess technically they're right because A and B together, if you're one, you get the other. So technically they're right. All right, I just like B better, but so, and other persons who owe allegiance to the United States who have not been granted the privilege of citizenship. So nationals, we can choose between the two. But these people down here from a Samoa and Swain, for passport purposes, they fall under the non-citizen U.S. national. That's really our designation. But the Department of State doesn't give them something special because there's so few of them. So when you turn in your passport with a birth certificate from these two places, they just push you under non-citizen national. But these particular people are really our U.S. non-citizen national. So they don't give them a special whole thing. They just lump them underneath our title. That's why this is confusing to some departments out there. They don't understand the difference. I do, emphatically. But I'm glad to see that they changed this code to what I was talking about because this was wrong. It's right now. All right, so let me jump back into the comment section. See what we got. Eric says, when I did my wife's revocation of election, I left the Social Security number off the forms and nothing ever came of it. Yeah, because there's no law that says you have to use it. As a national, we were really not supposed to ever get a Social Security number. And we're supposed to be able to open up bank accounts and do all the things with just our name, given name, which means private or foreign, but within the family of the United States corporation or America. Frog Dog says the EIN is commercial. That is true. Ohio says I owe tax, but refuse to send me a bill. I think that's shady and funny. Yeah, you have a right to basically send them a letter and say, I am formally requesting a validation of this debt, and I am requesting full accounting. I give you 30 days to provide that, or this matter is considered defaulted. That's what they would do to you. What about side jobs that take W-9 forms? Same thing. Same thing, but I would have for myself my W-8 BN. I would have an affidavit of being a non-resident. I would have those in place. And remember, because our names are in the system at any point in time, they can decide, hey, I'm gonna pick a name from a hat, and we're gonna bother this person. I expect to see a somewhat increase because they're spending billions of dollars in updating their system into an AI. So we're going to be getting a whole bunch of AI letters. I think I already got mine, and we already dealt with that amicably and legally. And I sent them my lawful information, and they have backed down from the claim. So class says, so if you're not a federal employee, you're exempt from federal taxes. Well, I'm not going to say I'm an expert. What I will say is that if you think about it, common sense, if you really think about it, if federal tax is a thing, and it is, shouldn't that only be taxed by people who are federal employees, federal employee tax? So if you're not a federal employee, using logic, I mean, if I said there's a black tax and a whole bunch of white people and Asian people and whoever else were paying that tax, remember, I'm not saying that we're black, okay? Just using this as an example. Then people who aren't that black, why are non-black people paying a black tax? Why would they give you through those documents the ability to opt out when we know 100% US citizens have to pay those? CDL, public people have to pay those. That's what the law states, because they're here foreign. Legally, even though they're your neighbor down the street or some of you guys, police officers, whatever, I deal with people all the time. I help police officers with their taxes and whatever else. They have to pay because the law says you're legally foreign here. So as Americans, we're saying you're on our land making money. Pay taxes to our country. Hit the tip jar. But what the system didn't tell you, because you didn't ask, and they don't have an obligation to tell you about private things, private remedies, who you are as a private state citizen. They said, well, we're all US citizens. But who did you hear that from? Your employer. And your employer is a US citizen. You heard it from somebody at the post office. They're a US citizen. You heard it from your judge, US citizen. We're all US citizens. No, you are. I can use my private side. They can't use their private side while they're in office. They are public persons subject to tax. Don't see the form on the screen. Which one did you guys not see? Wolf, you're not sharing. Bad Wolf. Okay. Oh, maybe. Let's see here. Let me try to do it again. Can you go back to the W8BN form? Okay, so you guys didn't see the W8BN? Okay, that's odd, but let me try. Go back over there. All right. Okay, let's see here. It says I'm sharing the screen, so you guys should be able to see it. W8BN. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying here. Share this tab instead. Okay, they added a new feature. All right. So here's the W8BN. And once again, certificate of foreign status of beneficial owner. So like I was saying before, your private side, your national, your state citizen is a foreign status. You are the beneficiary. That's what beneficial means. Beneficiary. You are the owner. You own this. Individual right here means that you're living. So they want a living person. Living persons who know who they are, operating from their foreign status as a beneficiary, beneficial owner. This is a certificate. This is a self-declaration. Somebody had asked about number 9. Okay, even though I made a video on this, I'll go over it real quick. Okay, so if it was me, educationally speaking, fill all this out as normal, but it's quick version. America, country, America, country, America. Resident of America, tax rate 0, treaty, Constitution, or you can put the Constitution. Additional conditions in the article paragraph, the beneficial owner meets to be eligible. I would put here national of the United States, 8 U.S.C. 1401. You put A if you want. You could put U.S. national equal to non resident per the I.R.S. You can also use the I.R.S. code for tax avoidance. You could say tax avoidance under 25.1.1.3.3. Okay, I already made a video on this, so y'all can do that. Okay, let me stop sharing. Okay, both didn't show on the screen. Now we see the W8 or the 8 fam. Okay, so you didn't see the other one. Okay, so let me pop back over there, even though I read it, but for those people who need to see it, I'll pop back over there, share screen. Which one? Go here. Share. Okay. Then that was the 8 FAM 301.1-1. That. Okay. Here, we'll share this tab. Okay. So 8 FAM 301.1-1, letter B, states that national versus citizen. While most people and countries use the term citizenship and nationality interchangeably, U.S. law differentiates between the two. So nationality and citizenship, you have both, but they are not the same thing. Under current law, all U.S. citizens are also U.S. nationals. But not all U.S. nationals are citizens. You have the choice to choose which one you want. You can be just a national and not a citizen. You have that as a right. But this is a double entendre. That's two meanings. So you and me have the ability to choose if we want to be a national and not a citizen. We have that right. But there's a secondary meaning to this, where down here there's a different type of national. Samoa and Swain are a type of U.S. non-citizen national under 8 U.S.C. 1101A29 or 8 U.S.C. 1408. We, on the other hand, are 8 U.S.C. 1101A22. So there are two different types of nationals. But within that, the national and the citizen that we are as the primaries, citizen is different than national. That's why it says national versus the citizen. They are not the same. U.S. law differentiates between the two. So they're telling you, as a citizen, you're taxable. As a national, you're tax exempt. So they truly make a difference. Absolutely. You have two things that are completely different by legal definition. Okay. So they are different things. So as we round up, we're almost, well, I've been on here about as long as I was going to be on here for the night. So if you guys want to ask some questions, talking amongst the things, I'm going to stay on for like another 10 minutes and then I'm going to probably relax, grab some dinner, and drink my blue water, which is methylene blue, food grade. Look up the benefits of that. Consult your doctor before using or taking anything. So if that's the case, maybe you guys didn't see the 26 USC 3401 section. So I'll pop that back up. If you did, it's a good refresher anyway, but I'll pop that one back up. So hold on, let me share. Go back over there, pop that code in. So good catch. Thanks for telling me, guys. Like I said, they added that new option. I've never seen that before. Usually it would follow my old desktop, but all right. So Cornell Law EDU 263401. Click that. We'll pop down to C. So once again, their definition of employee says, for the purpose of this chapter, the term employee includes an officer. When you're working at your job, you're not an officer, but it says you're an employee. So we're so used to hearing the word employee, we're just like, oh, well, that's what I am. But here they're saying that the term employee means an officer. But the word employee, which by U.S. grammar, okay, well, maybe it's not, that's not grammar. It's, is it grammar or quantum grammar? No, not quantum. Well, we'll just say the rules of the English language. Okay, brain's getting tired. You can't use the same employee to define what the word is. I can't say water is water. Okay, you're not supposed to say that. All right, unless they change the rules. But anyway, let's keep going. So when you say employee, to employ, deploy, these are all their military words. They're saying that you need to be an elected official of the United States. That's not you. You need to be a state. You're not a state. And most of y'all are not employees of a state or a political subdivision thereof. You're not that either. You're not from the District of Columbia as a U.S. citizen. You're not an agency or instrumentality of any of the foregoing. So the term employee includes an officer of a corporation. So if you're not an officer of a corporation, you're not an employee. So by my math and logic, which is subject to interpretation, do your own research, vet your own information, vet my information. If you're not those things, you should not be paying federal taxes. Once again, I'm not responsible for how you guys use the information. I'm just telling you it's interesting. Seek professional advice. So somebody says black is for dead people, black ink. So black presents the ether, which the ether is like subspace. Everything is created from energy, right? That energy in subspace means power. Black means power. But they use it in their world to represent, because remember, you're living, so you're always in the present. But black ink in their world represents control of magic. And magic is not conscious, it's living energy that you can will into things. How do we know this? The judge, magistrate wrap themselves in black because they're making the dead rise. Black ink represents the legal name as a dead entity. Your name in all capitalized letters on the state level and lower, not the federal level, is a dead entity. They're controlling the dead, the trust, the corporation, the legal name, the legal person. Police officers wrap themselves in black because they are legal enforcement officers. You don't see anywhere on there where it says America. When's the last time you've seen America on almost anything? Because it's all U.S. corporation. Those are different things. It's a jurisdiction thing going on here, good people. All right. Want to thank Hijab 63 with $1.99. Appreciate you. Other people may have donated. I may not have seen. Okay, so I apologize. When I'm in my focused work mode, this is me with you guys learning. Okay, this. So when I'm focused, I'm all in. Like the whole world just falls away. Which is sometimes why my lady gets mad at me, because I'm in the work mode. Silent Walk, what's going on? Good to see you here. Statutory defined legal terms. Yes, you are correct. Oh, and Hijab63 is also a YouTube member. Thanks for joining. Once again, the wolf pack grows. Have you ever heard of the GPO manual? Oh, man, I was one of the first people to put that out there on the internet. I've been doing this a long time, bruh. But absolutely, the GPO style manual is where it all comes together. All right, so I'll pop that up. So we'll take a look at that. For those people who have not seen this, I know I have a lot of videos, but watch as many as you can. Okay, so let's go back over there. We'll go to the GPO style manual so people can see where all this comes together. All right, GPO style manual. Now, for you, good sir, I know you know about the GPO manual, but did you know this little secret about them? Now, they do this every 8 years. All right. So really, there should have been what? One in 2024 should have been. There's not. So, hey, government, I know you guys watch my videos. Where's our GPO style manual? Just saying. But here, if you click on the 2000 version, check this out. Okay, so this is the 2000 version of the GPO style manual. If you go up here to search and you put in 5.23, it'll take you right here. So in this section, so let's say you're in California. Well, here's the word Californian, right? Okay, so with that being said, under section 5.23, under the title nationalities, okay, nationalities is plural for the word national. So multiple nationals. The old school word they used to use instead of national was state citizen. So when the founding fathers were in the Virginia Republic area geographically, they were known as Virginians. This is where that comes from. The law had to define what this really meant. That's where the GPO style manual comes in. So they changed the word from state citizen to mean Virginian. They kept Virginian, they got rid of the word state citizen, and they adopted the word national, U.S. national, national of the United States, foreign national, non-resident. Well, not so much non-resident. That can be different people. But we also qualify as those things in the private. So a Virginian is a national, an Alabama, a Floridian, Kansan, multiple nationals across our land-touching geographical area, the Republic, means that we are multiple nationals, which means these are nationalities. So the word national also contains the word nation. So as a national, you have a nation. Other Californians together with you is a republic nation, a private state. Within the word nation is also contains the word nati, which means native. How can we prove that? Right here. It says in designating the what? Natives of the several states. So you are in fact a native. I don't care if you're white, black, Asian, gay, straight, poly, whatever, it doesn't matter. If you were born here or you naturalized, you are considered a native. But here's the cool part with the 2000 version that they don't have in the newer ones, 2008, 2016. This term right here, of the several states, when you see the word of the several states, this is how they regard America in the private. Private America used to be referred to, and sometimes still is, as the several states. This means America, literally. Within the word nati, the root word is nat, N-A-T, which stands for natural or living. So you're natural, you're living, you're a native, and you have a nation, and you are amongst other nationals who have the same thing in the private. Here is where the national was created or codified, right here. Doobie doobie doo, doo doo doo, doobie doobie doo. Private banking says, you are awesome, brother. Hey, takes one to know one. So thanks for bringing that up because I do love those sections. US. I would have to research that to know. I love the picture. I believe you're correct, but I would have to sit down and research all those codes. But it would seem, my good friend, you know about the Numidian record. Very powerful information requesting the Numidian record. We may have made videos on that. If you know the power of that, I'll give you guys who didn't attend that class. The Numidian record is your full, and there's two, so you have to be careful which one you request. But there's two records. One is a basic overview of your Social Security account, very short, generic. The full version tells you everybody that you may know or may not have known who, educationally speaking, may have accessed your Social Security account to the trust. A little something in the back. Theoretically, educationally speaking. So I used that in one of my affidavits. I'm a Floridian, a man of the several states. Exactly. Exactly. Y'all getting it. Y'all getting sharp with this stuff, right? Y'all. I am a native New Yorker. Yes, in fact, that is where it comes from. That you may not have known, but the term New Yorker, that's where it all comes from. I mean, I know you know now, but that has standing in law. That is its own actual codified, recognized term. Just like the term U.S. citizen, it's its own thing. So is a New Yorker. That's where it comes from. You can use that on them all day. The what record? Numident, Numident. Look up on YouTube, search YouTube for Bad Wolf and Numident record. And there's a video on there you may want to watch. All I'm going to say, if you know how to use that, that is some fire, educationally speaking. So you may want to watch my video on that one. It's good. What if the Numidian record came back? If the Numidian record comes back to you and you request it the proper way, okay? So don't be fooled. There's two types. It should give you a breakdown of, once again, who's used your Social Security number. You may find it interesting. You may find it real interesting, but you'll also find they don't like it when you request that. I may or may not have. I'm gonna leave it alone. Watch the video. It's educational. I'm not making any claims. This is just for U.S. nationals, state citizens, foreign nationals, nationals of the United States, private citizens. Sometimes I like to say private persons. Believe it or not, the term private person means you're private, but you're on the public side. So don't say private person. You are a private citizen. I know it's just how it works. These are the terms that they recognized. All right. David says, I hopped on late. You did, but the live will be up on my YouTube. So all of the lives I've made, you guys can go to my YouTube channel, go to the main page, and there's a live playlist. You can click that bad boy and watch all the lives I've ever done since day one. Some of the first ones were a little rough. Okay, bear with me. All right. I was a little chubbier then. All right. A little less gray hair. You know, I mean, in all reality, hey, your boy is 50. Okay, so just letting you know, I got to get you guys this information. I'm starting to get up there, so y'all got to learn this. Y'all got to carry the torches. Oh, the QSIP lookup used to be a good way to track. Yeah, you can still look up QSIPs, um, you know, but they've changed some of the certain sites, and you now have to make an account because they want to know who's looking at what. I've told you guys since day one, as they move, we move. As we move, they move. The moment they start seeing, oh, y'all getting smart up there, hey, legal department, we need to obfuscate. I mean, uh, selectively maneuver this information so that it's not abused. Hide the information. Oh man. So yeah, so if you guys want to search or look at any of the lives, just go to my main page, click the live playlist, and they're all there. Does your video detail how to request a Newman record? Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys, we are drawing to the end of the hour. I want to thank each and every one of you guys personally for being here. Looks like we got up to 116 people. That surprises me because it's a Monday, even though YouTube says this is a great time to do live. Sunday and Monday at this time is a great time to do it. Normally, when I do them, they're about now. So usually I'm just getting started, but I am beat. I've got so many things I've worked on. And for those people who are concerned about what's going on with my private life, like I said, I don't usually go into full detail, but we're doing some new things. We're fighting in court. We have located where with his biological mother who ran off with my son, we have located them. She's been attacking me through the court system, using the court to obfuscate or hide her address by using a protection order, which she's not supposed to get unless the person is violent. And that has not been my case. I have no DAs or anything on my record. I got a whole bunch of court stuff for right to travel that we won, credit card stuff that we won. I got a whole page of that since whatever. Some of that is talked about in the VIP section for the Bad Wolf. So if you want to join the VIP section, go to my main site, click join, hit the monthly subscription, and you can see all of the private videos that I put up from time to time, 1 or 2 a month, and get to check those out. So some people were like, I can't believe he just said that casually. I have no choice. What do you want me to do? Cry and break down? I do that in the private, keeping it real. Like a real man should. I'm not gonna, this is for business. So, but what I'm taking from what I'm going through, I'm going to be making videos once, and if God is with me and I'm so blessed, we are successful in all of that. And even if I'm not, you know what, even if I'm not, which God, I hope that's not the case, but I will still make videos so I can help you guys, fathers or mothers who are in the same position or similar, give you guys a path on how to do all this crazy stuff that I've gone through. Like it's like a movie. It's crazy. Like nobody in their life. This is why I know God put me on this to do this, and I'm damn good at it. To be able to pass it on to help you guys. Classic says 50. Don't look at Wolf. Hey, appreciate you. Appreciate you. All right. So, yeah, I've been trying, man. I've been taking my supplements and trying to, lose some weight, trying to build up the muscle. And actually, for people that don't know, I'm actually 225 pounds. All right. So legally, because I'm like 5'11", so I'm just under 6 foot, which sucks unless I put on the little thick-soled shoes. Just get over that. Legally, I am like way more built than you guys can see. And when I get on my scale, it's like, you're obese, but it's just that I'm very muscular and very dense. So, which the last time I was arrested, which was years ago, the police grabbed me and he almost fell because he was like, damn, you're solid. He was like, when I was doing my right to travel and unlawfully arrested, might I add. and I did win that court case. So there's that. But anyway, guys, we are at the bottom of the hour. And yeah, I need to get out. I need to get some sun, which is obviously you can see in my window right here. It's nighttime. But yeah, get more sun, everybody. You guys have no idea how powerful that sun is on your body and what it does for you. And if you do, if you know, you know. All right. So take care of yourselves. Be healthy. Keep your mind right. Stay away from all of the programming, especially for my males out there. Stay away from drinking things out of plastic containers. Get you glass or whatever. Do not use anything. Try not to microwave things and that are plastic. Anything plastic, anything non-slip that, you know, even cooking, unless it's like the diamond or the whatever. Try not to use anything Teflon, all that stuff. And like John was saying here, you guys would be surprised how many things, educationally speaking, are related to having an off balance pH. Some of you ladies out there, yeah, y'all be letting some of these dudes mess up your pH. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I was raised by women. Y'all know I know what I'm talking about. I'll be talking about that on my other YouTube channel, Bad Wolf Unrestricted. So please join me over there on that channel, guys. A parasite cleanse, yes. You guys would be surprised. Educationally speaking, there are connections between. They say what 80% of people out there have one or different types of parasites, whether you know it or not. And generally, they do not look for that. And you'd be surprised. Educationally speaking, because I know how they like to watch my channel, that there may or may not be a connection between certain things going on that you're wondering why this is messed up and they can't find a reason for it. They may or may not possibly be parasite related. So look into that. Okay. And let's see, here we got $20 from nobody. Winner, chicken dinner. Thank you. I appreciate it. Like I said, I put the money towards these books. Like you see, I got the whole, well, almost the whole America's Jurisprudence. I bought some more books. I'll let you guys sneak look over here. So I bought some more books. Don't mind my clothes on the floor. So that's what I'd be doing when I'm not with family or my lady and whatever else. All right. Educationally speaking, okay, so do your own research, guys. So that's it, guys. Once again, you guys have got me to this point. Thank you. We're almost at 100,000. We should, with the blessing from the Most High, hit 100,000, and that's amazing. You guys have really helped me to live many aspects of my dreams, complete dreams. And thank you for the support. Thank you for loving this. Thank you for appreciating me. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And I'm not just saying that seriously. I see the names when you guys add and whatever else. I try to remember as many of you guys as possible. So Ghost, I appreciate you guys. Private Banking, SK, thank you. Dianca, thank you. SK, yes. Try to stay away from air fryers and, of course, microwaves. I'm not going to lie and say I don't have those. I recommend filtering your water at your sink that you drink. I went on Amazon and I found a 3-compartment, I think it was like $40, water system that you literally unplug underneath your sink, put the system in place, plug that in, and that filters way down. That is good. I have, which thank you for reminding me. I've got a filter on my shower head because you don't want to be showering in it. So filter that water, filter what you drink and you eat. That is huge. Member for 13 months. Miss Lady, thank you. I appreciate you guys. Every little bit helps me to continue to do this. John, thank you. Ricky, thank you. Monk, thank you. Silent Walk. Sisser 2565. Nobody. Frog Dog. All of you guys, thank you so much. ID 1640. 1411, Kaylin, Christina, Eric, and anybody else, Rachel, Classic, all of you guys, thank you. Have a great night. Be positive, keep the light, keep the faith, keep going. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bad Wolf's out. Thank you guys for making this possible. I appreciate each and every one of you guys.
Gift.